Okay, should we get started? I think more people might come in, but we can start now. I want to thank everybody for joining another eFuture webinar. My name is Aaron. I think I've met some of you in person, maybe, and I've met some of you on Zoom through the chat, and I hope everyone's doing well. So just to introduce myself real quickly, I'm Aaron. Right now I'm in Wisconsin, which is a state in the Midwest part of the United States. It's 9 p.m. and we had a very, very beautiful weather today. I see that you guys are from different parts of the Americas, from South America, Central America, parts of Asia. Seems like a really diverse group, which is wonderful. And goes well with 21st century skills around the world, yes. So I want to say one thing before I start. Don't worry about the certificates. We will give you that information at the end. We will give you the email addresses you need. It'll be on my screen and in the chat. But don't worry. At the end, you'll get the information you need on how to get a certificate, okay? So everyone take a deep breath. It'll be okay. All right. Today we are talking about 21st century skills and hand in hand. Okay. So I want to introduce 21st century skills. I'm sure you are familiar with them by this point, but I will still spend some time introducing them. I want to provide a guide for you to use when teaching 21st century skills, and then we'll look at a unit together through hand in hand, and then if we have time at the end, you guys can ask some questions, okay? If I'm talking too fast or too slow or you can't hear me well, just send a message to the chat and we can try to accommodate, okay? Hello from Cambodia and Peru. Like I said, I love seeing all these different places you guys are from. It's really, it's amazing. Before every presentation in this crazy year of 2020, I'd just like to repeat that I hope you're all safe and healthy, and that your family and friends are safe and healthy, and that your students are healthy. It's been a crazy year. There's a question that I want to answer. Yes, this will be recorded, but that does not mean you can leave now. No, it will be recorded and later uploaded to YouTube. I'll talk about this at the end. We have a lot of great content on YouTube that you can check out. Okay, so hope you guys are safe. Moving along. Before I start, I just want to get to know you guys a little bit. I did this in my last presentation. These are different questions though. And just in the chat, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can write a different one. But I just want to get to know you guys because I think that's important when doing these webinars. I wish we could meet in person, but for now, this will have to do. So first question, if you could be any animal, which animal would you be? Would you be a shark, a horse, a bird? I don't know what kind of bird that is. A tiger, a dog, or something else? What animal would you be? Okay, dolphin. Nice. A bird, tiger. I see a lot of tigers and dogs. A panther, a lioness. Very good. Cat, bird, horse. A dove. Sloth. Who said sloth? Whoever said sloth gets a point. That's a great answer. In the hot summer, oh, a wolf. I think a wolf is my favorite animal. In the hot summer, I definitely feel like a sloth. A hamster, that's so cute. Dolphin. Okay, I think number 3, I don't know what kind of bird that is. I think it's an eagle. It might be a hawk. But it's very pretty. Horse. Okay, some great answers. Very good. I think a bird would be amazing because to fly would be amazing. A monkey, go back to the old days. That's a great answer. All right, next question. If you won $1 million, what is the first thing you'd buy? A new boat, a new car, a new house, a vacation, or hand in hand? Even though hand in hand is not expensive, but maybe that's the first thing you would buy, or something else. What's the first thing you would buy if you won $1 million? Okay, see a lot of house and vacation answers. Very practical group and impractical. Buy time with your children, that's a great answer. A school, education. So it seems a lot of people need a vacation and free time. I like to see that. I mean, right now we are kind of traveling around the world. We have people from all parts of the world here in this group. You can't hear me. Okay, most people can hear me. The person, health insurance. Yes, that's a big problem in my country. Very expensive. All right, so last question. Oh, that's a great answer. Create a public library. Excellent. Next one. If you could be friends with any superhero, who would you choose? Batman, Iron Man, Black Panther, Wonder Woman, Gary, the seminar genius, or someone else? Who would you meet? Who would be the superhero you want to be friends with? These these webinars are for professionals, but I'd like to get to know you beforehand. Kind of a snarky comment. Aaron, I like that. You don't have to change your friends. You can keep your friends, but you can add a new friend. Dr. Strange. 5 and Aaron, nice. Okay, seeing a lot of Garys there. That's great. All right. Let us, Iron Man. Next part, real quick. I just want to get the brains working. Okay, so these are called pictograms or a Rubik's puzzle. The idea here is there's a message in the picture. It's a common English expression. So you have to look at the picture and the way the word is going, and you have to guess what is the expression or the idiom or the term. So we have love going down or falling. So what do you think this expression is? Love is falling, falling in love. Very good. Okay, so this is falling in love. Now I want to give you 4 more just to try kind of to wake up your brain. Number 1, what is the expression for this one? Number 1. Try to look and try to find the clues and guess what the expression or the idiom is. Okay, number 1. What letter is missing from number 1? Nice. Got some very smart people here. 2. What does this mean? What common English expression is this showing? Sally, very good, Sally. That was fast. Number 3. What do you think number 3 is? We have number 3 might be too easy. Top secret. Silence was an answer from last week. Number 4. just the word Jack. What do you think number 4 is? Okay, so let's check the answers. I think you guys got most of them. Jack in the Box is a delicious but unhealthy restaurant. Number 1, missing U. The letter U is missing, so the answer is missing U. Number 2, you can see number 2 is understand. It's under the word stand. Try to understand. Number 3, this one was easy. Top secret. You have 3 secrets. The top secret. And number 4, Jack is in a box. Jack in the Box. All right, so I got to know you guys a little bit with those questions. I woke up your brain a little bit with these activities. Now let's get started. I want you to look at the photo. And I want you to think about these questions. Does this look like your classroom? How is this good for EFL education? How is this bad for EFL education? And does this look like a real life situation? Okay, so number 1. Does this look like your classroom? Is this good or bad for education? Is it both? So we have all the students in a desk. They're all facing the teacher. The teacher is in the front. Okay. So maybe there are some good things about this. Maybe there's some bad things about this. Yeah, it's definitely very good for listening to the teacher, explaining rules. The teacher can make sure everybody is paying attention. My classroom, when I was in kindergarten, kind of looked like this too. Okay, next one. Does this look like your classroom? So this is a little bit different. The tables are together, so students are facing each other. The teacher is in the back. Kids are doing different activities. This kid in the front is looking into space. You can see one student has headphones on. Okay, so maybe this classroom looks more like your classroom. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is better for EFL education. Maybe it's not. But there are definitely some advantages and disadvantages to both. What about this classroom? Does this classroom look like your classroom? Okay. Does anybody have a class that looks like this? So we have a lot of futuristic technology. We have a robot. Okay, so maybe this is what our classrooms in the future are going to look like. But what's really important is the different skills students are obtaining in your classroom. Okay, so what are the important skills used for 20th century classrooms, 21st century classrooms, and 22nd century classrooms? So the 20th century, we were still trying to figure out the classroom. We were kind of reacting to the industrial age and factories and 9-to-5 schedules. So maybe in the 20th century, listening to the teacher, following directions, listen and repeat, content knowledge, rote learning, kind of memorizing were all very important. But things started to change, and in the 21st century, these skills started to change, the focus. Now the classroom is more student-led. It's working with the teacher. It's a collaboration. It's working in groups. Giving unique answers and solutions, higher order thinking skills. So these are the important skills maybe in the 21st century. What about the 22nd century? Maybe in the 22nd century, important skills would be flying, teleporting, speaking 74 different languages, invisibility. Who knows? Who knows what the 22nd century will look like? But we do know that we need right now to focus on the 21st century. Okay, it's 2020. We're already 1/5 of the way through this century, and it's time that we really start focusing on the important skills students need. Okay, so from the 20th century to the 21st century, a lot has changed. Technology, globalization, multiculturalism, the workspace looks different, type of work is different, but in many ways, the classroom has not changed. Okay, so a lot of people believe education is very slow to change and is not keeping up with the rest of the world. And that's why these 21st century skills are so important. It doesn't really matter how the classroom looks. I mean, it does in some ways, but what's most important is that we're giving our students a chance to learn the skills they really need outside the classroom. So a big problem is we have these two different worlds. We have kind of the classroom world and then the work office job world. And there's a mismatch in the skills. A lot of classrooms aren't doing enough to prepare the kids, our students, for the real world. So sometimes in the classroom, you get very confident, strong students. They do well in the test. The teachers like them. They're ready for the world. But then you get to the real world and I didn't learn these skills. I don't know what to do. And they have all of these problems. So again, this comes back to our job as educators and getting our students ready for not the classroom, but what happens after the classroom, what happens outside the classroom. So we need to help our students and we need to prepare them for the 21st century. Okay, so what are the 4 C's of 21st century skills? Does anybody know the 4 C's? I feel like everything in EFL starts with C, but what are the 4 C's of 21st century? Okay, I'm seeing some answers. Communication. Good. All right, so you guys got most of them. Communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking skills, as well as some other things such as digital literacy, being able to adapt, and what else? Curiosity is a great one. Now the problem with EFL, so another way of thinking about this is we're giving our students a chance to learn ways to think, different ways to work, tools for working, and how to live in the world. Okay, so ways of thinking, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving. We all know how important problem solving is in 2020. We've learned a lot about the challenges we face, ways of working. So communication, collaborating, and teamwork. Tools for working. So not only are we teaching them ways to work and think, but the tools they need, such as information literacy, technology literacy, and internet literacy. Okay, these are things that they're going to need to understand and be comfortable with. And then we also need to help our students become passionate, empathetic people, understand what personal and social responsibility is, and how to be a global citizen. Okay, so one thing about EFL and ESL is sometimes the authors get too excited about clever expressions like the 4 C's. And it can be confusing. So there are the 4 C's of CLIL and the 4 C's of 21st century skills. Do you remember which ones are which? What are the 4 C's of CLIL? What are the 4 C's of 21st century skills? Do you remember? It's okay if you don't remember. Part of the problem is everything starts with C. So CLIL is CLIL is content, culture, cognition, and communication. 21st century skills is creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking skills. So just remember, it's very similar, but also don't get confused. There are some important differences. But these are the 8 C's of EFL, of TESOL. You'd think they could find a different letter to start the words with, but they love the letter C. Okay? So when you're thinking about trying to introduce 21st century skills in your classroom, these are 5 classroom practices that you can use to get them into your classroom. If you do these 5 things, I believe you'll start to really see the improvement and the increase in 21st century skills. So 1, allow student-led learning. Give your students lots of opportunity to kind of lead the discussion, to share their thoughts. Make sure your classroom has an inquiry-based environment. Your students should feel comfortable asking questions, thinking out loud, wondering about the world. Encourage collaboration, develop critical thinking skills, and inspire creativity. So any book you're using, any activity, try to incorporate at least one of these 5 things, if not all of them. And today I want to show you how these work through hand in hand. So just briefly, hand in hand is eFuture's primary course book. It's 7 levels. I only have 6 pictured, but there's also a starter level. And again, when you're using a course book, the primary goal is language learning, okay? Especially at the primary level. We want our students to feel confident with vocabulary, with the grammar structures, but integrated into the lessons are the 21st century skills. And sometimes as a teacher, you also have to kind of extend the lesson to really help your students. But within the pages, you can see 21st century skills. So in activity A, it says, then act out with friends. Right there, students will be communicating, they'll be working together and collaborating. They'll be using some creativity to act it out in different ways. You can see on this page, students will have to use creativity and critical thinking skills to kind of look at the picture and understand the connections and apply their knowledge. Here you can see a lot of communication where the students are asked to talk to each other, to ask each other questions, to collaborate. They have to give creative answers. They have to use critical thinking skills to understand how to do a survey. So again, the course book, the goal is language learning, but there are second tier things happening, which CLIL and 21st century skills. And again, in hand, we always like to include the CLIL, but through a CLIL lesson, there's 21st century skills happening. So this is a great page for group projects. for collaboration. Okay, sorry, I just was looking at the chat real quick. I just want to repeat that, yes, this will be available on YouTube afterwards. And yes, there are songs. So if I go back, a lot of the book has listening and speaking activities, but also a song. Okay, so it's really helpful, and it's a great way to incorporate the 21st century skills. So this page is sort of a, the global, what's happening around the world page. And then at the end, with hand in hand, if you want even more 21st century practice, explicitly 21st century, there are worksheets at the end. And if you look at the top, each worksheet says 21st century skills. This one focuses on communication. This one focuses on creativity. And these worksheets are available in the teacher's manual, and you can download them from our website. Okay, so you can contact eFuture at the end about that if you have more questions. Danny P, as always, makes a wonderful point. What's really nice about focusing on CLIL or 21st century skills is they come together. If you choose to focus on one of them, you're doing both, and that's really nice. Okay, so now I want to just focus specifically on these 5 classroom practices and just show you some activities you can do sorry, just looking at the chat. Yes, the website will be shared, and Sheila, I'm not sure why you can't hear. I mean, me talking is pointless if you can't hear. Okay, so when you're thinking about how to have your students lead the learning, try to use the unit topic. It's a great way to kind of guide the student-led learning. Make sure you ask about the students' interests. Really try to encourage students to communicate their prior knowledge, their background knowledge, their interests. And when you are looking at a page, ask your students, what do you want to learn about? What are you interested in? And then let students make predictions. Letting students make predictions gives them kind of ownership of the activity. They're saying, I think this is going to happen. And that's an example of student leading the learning. Okay, so some activities, and with student-led learning, it's a really great warm-up activity when you can have the students leading the learning. And they can do that by reviewing previous material and engaging in the new material. So if this is our page, it's the first page of the unit, and I'm the teacher. I'm thinking I really want my students to kind of lead the learning here for a little bit. So here are some things I would do. One, I would have my students look at the pictures, and I would have them connect the characters to different emotions that they can connect to themselves. So characters through emotions to themselves. So if you look at the girl in the first picture, she's running towards the boy. What feeling do you think she has? If you look at her face and kind of her expression, what feeling do you think she has? Student-led learning and self-directed learning are different, kind of. They're similar and different. I can talk about that at the end, though. So maybe the first girl looks nervous or sad. How does the boy look? Does the boy look sad too? No. Maybe he looks calm. He looks happy. So then you can ask your students to talk about what makes them feel nervous. What makes them feel calm? Or you can ask your students, why do you think she's nervous? Or why do you think she's sad or annoyed? And you can start to have the students lead the discussion by talking about these characters' emotions and their emotions, okay? Emotions are a great way for students to connect to language and to the book you're using. I mean, all students, all kids, all humans go through the spectrum of emotions probably on an average day. Okay, so this is a nice way to promote students leading the learning. Now again, if we go back, this unit is about fun things. So you can start to extend that idea and ask, how do you have fun in your classroom? The students can raise their hands, they can talk to each other, but they can answer, I like math. I like to play games. I like to work with my friends. I like to watch YouTube videos. So again, they're leading the discussion. How do you have fun in your bedroom? Oh, teacher, I like to read books. I like to play with my toys. I like to sleep. How do you have fun at the playground? Okay, so now you're taking the kids out of the classroom to their home, to the park, and they're thinking about the unit theme, but they're also leading the discussion. Oh, at the park, I like to go on the swings. I like to play baseball. I like to go down the slide. And they kind of talk about the different activities they do. Okay, and then you can start to change the questions a little bit. Still, it's student-led learning. You're kind of the facilitator. You're not teaching, you're the facilitator. Is it fun? Ask your students, is it fun? Why or why not? And then they can answer, and they can give their reasons, and they can build up a discussion. Is karate fun? Okay. Is soccer fun? Students, do you think soccer is fun? What do you think is fun? Why is it fun? Is math fun? I know math is not everybody's cup of tea, but some students really like it, and it's a very important skill. Is going to the dentist fun? No, it is not. That child is smiling. She's a liar, or she's a paid actress, but that is not fun. She should not be smiling. So again, you're giving your students some input that gives them a chance to lead the discussion. And then you can have them work in a group and answer these questions. What is the most fun? Put these in order. Okay, what do you guys think is the most fun? Singing together, flying a kite, ping pong, reading a book, eating candy, arts and crafts. What do you think is the most fun? You can have your students put these in order. Okay, some people say eating candy is the most fun. And then you ask your students, what candy do you like to eat? Wait, that was a good question from Julia. So Julia, that's a very good question. At a low level, sometimes the teacher needs to provide questions to start the student-led learning. Okay, it's like a spark for the students, especially at a low level. At a higher level, the teachers can act more as they can observe the class and facilitate. But at a low level, I would suggest that the teachers help student-led learning by providing some questions, by providing some structure. Okay, because again, they're very low level, and you just need to kind of give your kids the gentle push to lead the learning. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of good answers. Flying a kite. Arts and craft, singing. I am a terrible singer, so I do not like singing. Usually when I sing, people start to cry because it's so bad. So I hope you never hear me sing. Okay? So once you get the kids an opportunity to lead the learning, to talk about their interest, their background knowledge, to connect to the topic, then you want to kind of build that inquiry-based classroom environment. Now, what is this? This is basically being curious, asking questions, thinking, wondering, but at a low level, especially if kids are used to a teacher-centered classroom, it's really important to model these skills, to do out loud thinking, to model questioning. Show your students how to do this. I think this is something teachers don't think about enough, but modeling is a very important thing you can do for your students, showing them how you think about things. Let me show you an example. So if we're going to do this listen and sing together, before you do it, you, the teacher, can act as a model for your students. You can look at it and you can start to think out loud. So the title, and I'm going to demonstrate that. So the title is I'm sorry I'm late. Somebody must be late. Who is late? Oh, the girl seems to be running. The boy is standing. The girl seems a little nervous. Maybe she's late. I think she's late. Why is she late? Maybe she had schoolwork. Maybe she is a slow biker. Does the boy look angry? No, he looks happy. I think it's okay. What are they doing? Where are they? I think they're at a park. They're gonna go biking. They have helmets. The boy likes number 3. I wonder where they're going to go. So I am modeling this for my students. And then I give my students a chance to think about the picture, to think about the song. So really try to introduce more modeling in your class, thinking out loud, especially with the young kids. You can also do a KWL. These are a great way for students to ask questions. They can look at the picture and they can say, what do I already know? I know they're at a skate park. I know the girl is late. I know the boy is happy. He's okay. What do I want to learn? I want to learn more about skateboarding. I want to learn how much does a skateboard cost? I want to learn where is the closest skate park in my neighborhood? And then through inquiry, they can start to learn these things. They can write down what they learned. So KWLs are really good activity. Information gaps are probably, I think, the best activity for primary students because it makes the language very meaningful. So student A needs information. Student B has the information. So maybe student A wants to know the vocabulary words, but he doesn't know them. He can ask questions. Student B can look and answer. Okay? So this forces student A to be curious, to inquire, to ask questions. And this is, again, great collaboration, great communication, creativity, involves all 4 C's. Julia, again, a great question. I think there's a lot of different opinions on using the local language or the native language in a classroom. I think if you use it correctly, yes, you can. You can help your students understand. You can give them more direction. But you need to make sure you balance out the target language and the native language, the first language. But I do think there are moments where it's really important to use the first language, especially with lower level students. Okay, so try to use information gap activities. Student A needs information, student B has the information, and they must work together. All right. Another great thing you can do with inquiry is to practice the 5 W and H questions. And this is something students can practice on their own. They can look at pictures and do this. Okay, so who are they? Who are these kids? Are they friends? What is he doing? What is she doing? Where are they? Where are the adults? These kids look very unsupervised. That kid on the rope is clearly crazy. Where are they? When is this? Is this after school, on the weekend? Is this in the summer, fall? Why? Why is she smiling? Why is that girl's head so round? Why is he taking a photo? Is he kind of a creep, or is he just into photography club? How? How old are they? How is he swinging? How do you jump a rope? So again, you're just introducing the different ways kids can inquire about the picture, about the lesson. Okay, collaboration. Get your kids working together. Work with partners, work in groups, do group projects. Sorry, sometimes I look and I'm just checking the chat. Sorry, I'm not a robot that just turns off. I'm looking at the chat, make sure there's no questions. Okay, collaboration. When you're doing group activities, sometimes you need to assign roles. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's better to let your students pick the roles. Collaboration and communication go together. And as a teacher, when you let your kids work in groups, make sure you're walking around and monitoring the students. Make sure everyone's contributing and participating. Everybody knows that sometimes one group has the leader and the follower. We want them kind of working together. So an excellent collaboration activity is a survey. Do a classroom survey. Hand in Hand has lots of surveys for kids. It's a great way to get students working together, to talking to each other. They must share the data. They must communicate what they learned. So at the end of a survey, students can say, I found that most people in our class don't like scooters. I was surprised. Okay. A survey is a great way to practice the target language and to build in 21st century skills. Like I said, every review unit in Hand has great project ideas, and this CLIL page is a great way for collaboration to happen. So we can see kids are learning ordinal numbers. Have them get in groups and ask them, put the animals, so we have all these animals, in your group, put them in order by speed, size, strength. They work together, they talk. Oh, I think the tiger is faster than the lion. I think the zebra, and they're collaborating and communicating, being creative. They're using critical thinking skills. Or you can put all the animals in order, and you can have your students guess the theme. What's the theme of this order? First tiger, second bear, third lion. What's the theme? So the theme for number 2 is our favorite animals. So when the students can work in a group and they can make a poster and they can put their animals in their favorite order, first, second, third, focusing on the target language. And they can present that and communicate their ideas. Okay, critical thinking skills. These are so important. These really focus on higher order questions, problem solving, making connections, using language to solve problems, asking why. As teachers, we don't know the problems our students are going to face. We don't know, but we can give them the skills to find solutions on their own. So if we look at just this page, we can really focus on different levels of higher order thinking. Again, just this page, we can do a lot of critical thinking. So level 1, who had a game player? Oh, Tony has a game player. Just recalling basic information. What did Chris have? Chris has a kick scooter. We can start to change higher order, making it more difficult, more critical thinking. What is the topic of this activity? Oh, I think it's favorite things. How are Sandy's and Tony's hobbies different? Well, Sandy likes to go outside. Tony likes to stay inside. Level 3. Now students apply. Who would you want to play with? I want to play with Hannah. Would Chris like a waveboard? Well, Chris likes the kick scooter. I think he would like a waveboard too. They are similar activities. Analyze. So Tony likes video games. What are the pros and cons? I think video games are good. I think they're bad. Are indoor hobbies better than outdoor hobbies? So on one page, we did all of this critical thinking. Imagine what you can do in a whole unit. Higher order questions are really good ways to get your students to use the language and to use critical thinking skills. Okay, another thing you can do is you can have students look at the page closely, and you can have them make connections and have to make decisions. Okay, so these are very easy things you can make on your own. I'll show you an example. So we have all of these kids doing different activities in the picture. And then give this to the kids. Help wanted. East School needs a photographer for the yearbook. Please email us at yearbook.org. So if you look at the picture, who do you think would be the best for this position? Which student do you think would be a good photographer? And now your students can look at the picture and they can say, oh, Ansel. Ansel has a camera. I think Ansel should do this job. Okay, you can do lost and found. So what was a lost computer? The school library. This happened yesterday. Now you can have your students look at the picture for clues. Okay, on the computer I see bikes. This student must be interested in bikes. Whose computer is it? Well, Susan is on a bike. Maybe she likes bikes, and your students can talk about it. Okay, another one. Crazy Kids Hospital. So this is an advertisement about a crazy kids hospital. Do you have a friend that is always getting hurt, doing crazy things, acting wild and out of control? If you said yes, call us. So which kid do you think needs to call the crazy kids hospital? Now, if you look at the picture, I would say Peter. Peter looks like he's a fun kid, but maybe just a little bit too risky, and maybe sometimes gets hurt. And now your students can talk back and forth. Okay? So these are just ways to get your kids thinking. And creativity is so important. Try to get open-ended tasks. Give praise when students think in a unique way. Use CLIL, use the content areas. I love seeing creative kids. I love their minds are amazing. So Another thing you can do with this page is you can take a class field trip. And you can do this very easily using Google Maps. So we have the target vocabulary. Tell your students, I want you to use Google Maps to find these things in a park. Let me show you. So students can go to Google Maps, they can go to a park, and they can look for the vocabulary. And now this is Central Park. Oh, look at that. Bike. Teacher, I found a bike. They can look at the picture. They can look at this guy. This guy in the front, teacher. He's holding a camera. Teacher, I found camera. So they have to be creative to look through the park. They're using technology and they're making connections to the target language. Or they can look for activities they like. So student says he has a dog. He doesn't have a small dog. I want to go to the park with my dog. Okay? They're being creative, they're using technology, and they're connecting to the target language. And it's a great way to get the kids thinking outside the book, outside the classroom. All right, now in this picture we also see this girl. She's in her room. We can ask our students to be creative and make connections to other kids' rooms. So I want you to look at, we have Ryan, Gina, Juan, David, and Theus. Which room do you think is Ryan's room? So again, if we go back, we're talking about rooms, bedrooms. Which room is Ryan's room? And then you can ask your kids, why do you think that is Ryan's? Which room is Gina's room? Teacher, I think Gina's room is B. I think Gina likes butterflies, and I see a butterfly. Okay, I think Juan David likes guitar, and I see a guitar. I think it's A. Okay, and then of course you have to give them the answers. So Ryan's room is C. Gina's room is B. Juan David's room is A. So now they're thinking about rooms. And then you can have them think about their own room. Be creative. If you could have 5 things, only 5 things in your bedroom, what would you choose? Okay, if I could have 5 things in my bedroom, I'd have books, I would have books, a laptop, no, not a laptop, books, a computer, a batting cage so I can practice baseball in my room, a candy machine, and an arcade. So then students could talk about, oh, I would have, and they're making connections again to the language and being creative and communicating their ideas. Okay, so Darwin said about Google. Google Maps is a really good, fun, easy thing you can use in your classroom. I highly recommend it. Again, it brings in the technology. It brings in creativity. It's a lot of fun. A lot of things you can do with that. All right, so I wanted to just show you some ways you could integrate 21st century skills in your classroom: communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking skills. When you're making or planning your lessons and using a book, try to focus on those as much as you can. To review, or to kind of conclude, if you guys ever have questions, please check out our website. One of my colleagues will leave the website's link in the comments. If you want up-to-date information about eFuture, check out our Facebook page. And this presentation and other presentations will be on YouTube. So if you miss some parts, or you can't hear, or I talk too fast, or my voice is too weird, you can go to YouTube and you can watch again. You could watch Gary and Sue and Kevin and Alana and all of these superheroes. Okay, next, the money slide. If you want the certificate, please email your local distributor. Next page will have that, or you can email eFuture. If you want the certificate, you can email eFuture or email your local distributor. Okay? So I think that's important. Lots of questions about the certificate. You can, again, email your distributor or eFuture. Got it? All right. I finished a little bit early. There's still 2 minutes. There is another excellent, or not, sorry, that sounded presumptuous. There is an excellent presentation next week by Gary. He was one of these superheroes mentioned earlier. He will be doing a lesson on a model lesson on hand in hand. He's going to have some great tips and some activities. Make sure to check that out. And then there will be more of these happening in August. We think this is a great way to stay connected and to help you guys out. We know you're all teachers trying your best in a very difficult year, and we really admire your effort and dedication. I want to say thank you to everyone. This has been a lot of fun doing these. Are there any questions I can answer real quickly? What is eFuture email? I just... eFuture email. Wait, who asked that question? I can't go up. Go up, go up. eFuture email is right here. It's in the chat. Okay? So, inquiry. Remember, one of the 21st century skills is about inquiry. Creative thinking, critical thinking skills. I am going to log out. Are there any questions? If not, you guys are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing as educators. Your kids will appreciate it, and slowly the world will appreciate it. All right? I'm going to check out now. Have a nice day. Have a nice night.